Welcome back, folks, to the random video blog for December 18th, 2015. I'm Graham GSM Matthews. We're right here in the video blog every single Friday. I give my rambling thoughts on the wrestling world, share some stories, etc., etc. As you can tell, I'm obviously in the Christmas spirit. We're only 1 week away. Star Wars 7 tonight. My finals are done. 2015, the greatest year to date, in my personal opinion, is quickly coming to a close thanks to you fine folks for a great year, and I appreciate it. You guys are awesome. So I said last week that today's video blog, well, first and foremost, before we get to the video blog, I will say this: happy birthday to Stone Cold Steve Austin, who turns 51 years old today, which is awesome. And as I said in the Facebook page, Facebook blog yesterday, with all the awesome announcements and stuff, you can now, well, not currently, but hopefully very, very soon, in early 2016, you can buy your very own Wrestle Rant t-shirt. Eat, sleep, Wrestle Rant, repeat. There we go. And the logo is on the background, is on the back of the shirt as well. There we go. I'm messing up the t-shirt, but you can buy one of these shirts. A lot of awesome stuff coming down the pike, so be sure to stay tuned to the Facebook page for all those announcements that went up yesterday and on Twitter. They're everywhere, folks. You guys are great. You're awesome. Thank you. So we get down to today's video blog. So I said last week today's video blog would be all about my experience at TLC, but I feel like I've talked about that to death on Facebook, on Twitter, on Wrestle Rant Radio, on hashtag AskGSM. I've talked about it over and over and over. There's really not much more to talk about other than it was a really great fucking show, and this whole week has been amazing. You know, we had TLC on Sunday, which I was there for. Monday's Raw. We had TakeOver on Wednesday. Next week's Christmas. Today is Star Wars. I mean, there's so many amazing things going on right now. It's just incredible. That being said, I didn't want to devote today's video blog to my TLC experience because, like I said, I feel like I've already talked about it to death. There's really not much more to say. And, I did take a few videos at the show, really only two of note, one being Roman Reigns' entrance and the other being the New Day's entrance, which is a lot better. And that should be going up here on the channel on Sunday. So be sure to stay tuned for that. Be on the lookout for that video on Sunday. It should be going up. Check it out. But in the meantime, though, today we're talking about my top 7 favorite moments in WWE Slammy Awards history. Now, I know the Slammy Awards isn't everyone's cup of tea, because I know it's a very wrestling light show every single year. But it's funny, they were brought back after being done initially in 1986, 1987 is when they first started, almost over 30 years ago at this point. They were brought back as a regular occasion, solely for ratings purposes, starting in 2008. That was really the reason why they brought it back as as an annual special, probably urged by the USA Network, but I don't know if they draw big ratings now, but I enjoy the Slammies. Usually there's a lot of cool moments in store, as I'll be talking about today. I originally had only 5 moments down for stuff that I wanted to for stuff that I wanted to talk about, to cover from Slammy Awards history from 2008 onward, about my favorite moments in the event's history, but I came up with 7 because there were just so many, and I love the Slammy Awards, and they're this upcoming Monday, so I figured the timing could not have been any better to talk about the Slammy Awards, with this upcoming Monday being the annual event, and run down my top favorite moments in Slammy Awards history. And I'll try to make it brief. I know when I do these countdown videos, they're like a half an hour long, and I'm sorry, but I'll try to keep it quick today because I got to pack and I got to write and do all this other stuff before I leave campus in a couple hours, and whatever else before we go see Star Wars later, which I am so excited for, which I'm sure you guys are as well if you're a huge Star Wars fan like I am. It's going to be awesome. So looking forward to it. But anyway, guys, starting with moment number 7, my favorite moment, 7th moment in Slammy Awards history comes from the 2008 installment when Triple H and Batista reunited after many, many years. I think for the first time since 2005 or 2004. I might be wrong on that. I am wrong on that because they did reunite in late 07 at the 15-year anniversary, I believe. But this match originally at the and I know this is more of a match than it is a Slammy Award moment, but I did want to talk about it though. So at the Slammy Awards 2008, originally they had every nominee for Superstar of the Year. I think it was Triple H, Batista, Jeff Hardy, Jericho, Cena, and Edge. I think with the 6 nominees, and they had all 6 of those guys face each other. Jericho faced Hardy, Cena faced Edge, and then Triple H was supposed to go one-on-one with Batista. That match was changed to Triple H and Batista teaming up against The Legacy, Randy Orton, and Cody Rhodes, and Teddy DiBiase. Or no, not Teddy DiBiase. Teddy DiBiase was still gone by that point. I think it was Manu. And because Batista was facing Orton that Sunday at Armageddon, that's what it was. And it was a good match. Orton in the end picked up the victory. But it was cool to see Triple H and Batista back together, albeit for one night only before they would reunite not full-time, but more often in early 2009 when Batista got drafted back to Raw. He was already on Raw by this point. When Triple H got drafted back to Raw and was feuding with Orton over the WWE Championship. So kind of a tease for the rekindling of that rivalry a couple months later. Batista and Orton had one little good match before their pay-per-view match on Sunday, which I thought was good. I enjoyed their Armageddon match. I enjoyed that pay-per-view. But anyway, a cool little moment from the 08 Slammy Awards where the reunion of Triple H and Batista and Orton, 3 former Evolution members, took place almost a year removed from when Evolution originally reunited in 2007 when it was Ric Flair, Triple H, and Batista against Randy Orton, Edge, and Umaga. So we go to number 6 moment here on the list from the 2009 Slammy Awards, the very next year, where Shawn Michaels accepted the award for Match of the Year, obviously, with The Undertaker from WrestleMania 25. And in accepting the award, and it's funny too, because it seems like at the Slammy Awards, they always really kind of plant the seeds for something that's supposed to be coming down the line at WrestleMania. And I'll be talking about this moment in a second, but at 2010, they planted the seeds for a Bret Hart return and Vince McMahon kind of bringing him back, setting up that match. In 2011, I think it was Triple H saying, I want to face Taker again at WrestleMania, I think is what that moment was. And in 2012, it was Triple H saying he wanted to face Lesnar again at WrestleMania. So I don't know if we got in 2013, it was Daniel Bryan and Triple H. In 2014, I'm not sure if they really planted anything in 2014, maybe other than Reigns winning Superstar of the Year. But anyway, my point is that they usually plant the seeds for something big to happen at WrestleMania. And this was it. This is the very first instance of it when Shawn Michaels accepted the award for Match of the Year at WrestleMania 25 with The Undertaker. And he said, you know what? I can face him one more time. I know I can beat The Undertaker. And that's when the build began for one of the greatest matches, in my personal opinion, the greatest main event in WrestleMania history between Shawn Michaels and Undertaker 2 at WrestleMania 6. Over the next couple months, he would desperately try to face Taker at WrestleMania by trying to win the Rumble, trying to win the World Championship, by trying to, challenge Taker, and he said no. Just an amazing build for that match. And it all started here at the Slammy Awards when he accepted the award for Match of the Year, and he said, I know I can beat him. I know I can beat Undertaker at WrestleMania. And I inaccurately said it was at the 2010 Slammy Awards. They planted the seeds for Bret Hart coming back. That was at this event. That was not in 2010. That was in 2009. 2010, I don't know what they did, but like I said, they always plant the seeds for something big at WrestleMania every year at the Slammy Awards. This year might be no exception, but they definitely did it in 2009 with that moment, which I thought was awesome and set up one of the greatest, if not the single greatest WrestleMania main event in history. Moving right along here to moment number 5 on my list of my top 7 favorite Slammy Awards moments comes from the 2010 installment. I promise you this is not chronological. It just worked out this way. So the 2010 Slammy Awards I thought were all right. I remember watching like halfway through and I'm like, this is shit. Like the wrestling sucks. We got a guest appearance from David Arquette of all people, who I don't hate, but it was kind of pointless in my opinion. And really, I think John Cena got rehired and won Superstar of the Year despite having one of the worst kayfabe years of his career. Like, it made no sense. I thought it was a stupid award. I thought it was a stupid decision to give him the Slammy Award, but it's all fixed. That doesn't even fucking matter. But anyway, at that Slammy Awards, though, we did get one really cool moment that I did want to talk about here at number 5 on my list, was when CM Punk won the award for Despicable Me Award of the Year, which they have not done since. They didn't do before that, and really the only reason they did it was because the new Despicable Me movie came out that year. And Punk had won it for singing Happy Birthday to Rey Mysterio's daughter on SmackDown earlier that year, I think in maybe March, during his feud with Rey Mysterio, which was hilarious. And in accepting the award, he said, if you thought what I did to Rey Mysterio's daughter was despicable, you haven't seen anything yet. And he went on to threaten a mystery man for ending his career. And I was thinking, like, who the hell could he be talking about? Daniel Bryan. I don't think he injured him. He was about to feud with Daniel Bryan, and he got hurt, maybe at bragging rights or something like that. And no one really hurt him, so I'm thinking, like, what is he talking about? And eventually it was revealed to be John Cena, as we saw the following week on Raw, kicking off one of my favorite feuds in WWE history. So this really was where the feud started in 2010 at the Slammy Awards, with CM Punk calling out John Cena, saying, whatever you did to me, which I don't know what it was. I don't know where that came from, what the motivation behind was, what the motivation was behind that promo. But it was a great promo, very enigmatic, very mysterious, and it made you want to tune in to see who he was referring to, and it would be revealed the very following week on Raw. So we move forward here to number 4 on my list from the 2012 installment with the return of Tommy Dreamer. Number 4 on my list. CM Punk was number 5. Number 4 on my list is Tommy Dreamer's return from the 2012 installment. I love the fucking Slammy Awards in 2012. I thought that was probably easily my favorite. I thought all the other ones were decent. 2011 was okay. It just seems like they drag on every year. I mean, I know you could say the same thing for Raw, but the Slammy Awards, even before Raw went 3 hours permanently, they just felt like they dragged on and on and on because it's very wrestling-like, like I said, and there's a lot of awards that don't mean anything. In 2012, that was the case too. Like Cena won Superstar of the Year when it really should have been CM Punk. I know I'm still holding a grudge over that, but that was the year we saw also the return of the Boogeyman and someone else I'll talk about a little bit later on this list. We also saw the return of Tommy Dreamer, who came back in action. He was actually revealed to be the tag team partner of The Miz and Alberto Del Rio in a match against 3MB, which was awesome. And I think the show was in Philly, so he got a big pop, and it was awesome. It wasn't announced, a big shocker. And I know it's like kind of like, oh, Tommy Dreamer, cool to see him. But, you know, and being a huge Tommy Dreamer fan and having met him 4 times and being a friend of his and having him be the first wrestler that I ever met, you know, it was a great, you know, awesome for me. I was marking the hell out when I saw Tommy Dreamer show up on Raw. Looked good. He was in good spirits, good shape, had a good showing. He picked up the win for his team, and it made for an awesome moment. 2013 Slammy Awards, a show that I kind of struggled to find any real moments from, with the exception of this one, which is why it's so high on the list, came at the tail end of the show. I think they definitely weren't in Aberdeen. I don't think WWE ever goes to Aberdeen. It must have been somewhere in fucking Washington. They were definitely in Washington, okay, for the Slammy Awards that year. And obviously, who else is from Washington? Daniel Bryan. And at the end of the show, they were doing this whole segment to hype up Cena and Orton in the title unification match at TLC that Sunday. The World Heavyweight Champion versus the WWE Champion. Whatever. You know, I didn't really give a shit. I'm sure none of you really gave a shit. Maybe you did, that's fine. And I thought the match was alright. But I couldn't have given 2 fucks about seeing Cena and Orton face off in the main event for a title I didn't really want to see to begin with. But Daniel Bryan stole the show literally. Maybe not literally, figuratively, but he very much stole the show that night. And that the final segment was a face-off between Cena and Orton before Sunday. And surrounding them all in the ring was everyone at Raw that was a former World or WWE champion or both. And they just surrounded Orton and Cena as they talked about the match on Sunday. And then Triple H was introduced in the segment. And all you could hear was a loud-ass Daniel Bryan chant. If you look it up on YouTube, I watched it the other day and I was laughing my ass off. I think it's called like one of the loudest pops in the PG era or since the Attitude Era, something like that. But it's Daniel Bryan getting cheered the fuck out of the building by his home state, and deservedly so. I mean, he was in a match at TLC that Sunday, but he really deserved, in my opinion, to be in that title match. They really fucked him over that fall, and, you know, had it not been for the fan movement starting at the Slammy Awards that kind of really kicked off the suit of Triple H and the pursuit of the World Championship, he likely would not have been in a top match at WrestleMania had it not been for the rabid fan base. And it really kind of started here in his home state of Washington. All the focus was supposed to be on Cena and Orton, but instead it was on Daniel Bryan, who the pop, I can't even call it a pop because it was a suspended extended reaction. Like, it went on for a minute and a half. Like I said, check out the video here on YouTube. It's available. It's amazing. It'll give you goosebumps just watching, listening to it. The pop is great. Daniel Bryan's just kind of standing there smiling. Mark Henry just, on the spot raises Daniel Bryan's hand. Triple H is just standing there waiting for them to be done. It's hilarious, and they kind of killed time for literally a minute and a half. For the suspended pop for Daniel Bryan. It was incredible. Like I said, kind of kicking off his fan movement, the Yes movement going into WrestleMania 30. So we move forward here to my final 2 moments on my favorite moments in Slammy Awards history. Number 2 here, Cain coming back in 2011. Again, a decent show that had some okay moments for the 2011 Slammy Awards, but this was far and beyond my favorite moment on the entire show, and it came at the end. Now, this was one of those Slammy Awards, much like the 2010 one, the 2010 one too, I'm pretty sure, that I couldn't watch live because I was at something school related. I couldn't make it. So I watched it the next day. I avoided all spoilers, and I came back after school. Came back home and watched it. And I'm pretty sure the main event was No, Cena wasn't even a champion. It was John Cena versus the then world champion Mark Henry. And John Cena was nowhere to be seen on the show that year on TLC, which is what made that show so great. 4 years ago today, one of my favorite pay-per-views of all time. Easily top 10 favorite pay-per-views. Love that show so much. But anyway, yeah, he was nowhere to be seen in the card that Sunday, so they randomly put him in the main event against Mark Henry, probably just to further the feud between Mark Henry and the Big Show. I figured Big Show would come out, whatever. But instead, the lights go out, fire bursts up, and we see the return of Cain, who hadn't been seen in WWE for over 5 months at that point. And if you can recall, the last time we had seen him on TV was him getting attacked by Mark Henry, putting him in the Hall of Pain. So it made sense, like, oh shit, Cain's coming back for Mark Henry. But it wasn't any ordinary Cain. Now, the vignettes that had been airing leading up to this moment had depicted Cain wearing a mask again, which got a lot of people excited. For the first time, for me as a fan, I was able to see Cain with the mask on. I started watching in 08, years removed from when he, took off the mask. So almost 8 years later, almost a decade later after he dropped the mask in 2003, he was wearing it again on this show. Like I said, the lights go out, pyros goes off, it becomes clear that it's Cain. Crowd goes crazy, he comes out, circles the ring. Mark Henry leaves the ring after Cain makes eye contact with him, but instead Cain turns his attention to John Cena, lays him out with a choke slam, and then he just stands over John Cena. I'm like, please take off the mask, please take off the mask. But it wasn't the mask, it was like a welder's mask. It made him look like Darth Vader. And I was like, oh shit, is he going to be wearing this from now on? Like, it's cool, but it's not something you can really wrestle in. So as he's standing over John Cena, he teases taking off the mask, and then he does it, the welder mask, and he reveals this, as Daniel Bryan called it, this fruit roll-up of a mask. And I thought it was awesome. I still think it's pretty cool. I mean, it's nothing compared to the original, but it was still a pretty damn cool mask. Crowd went crazy, like I said, for the first time in 8.5 years. 8.5 years. Think about that for a second. I haven't even been a fan for that fucking long. That Cain was wearing a mask again, and it made for an amazing moment, and he was nowhere to be seen that Sunday on TLC, along with John Cena, so a great move on WWE's part to keep Cena busy before Mania with Cain, the whole rise above hate thing, and they didn't even address it at TLC. Cena was nowhere to be seen. He was healthy as could be, and he was nowhere to be seen in the pay-per-view, and it was pretty fucking awesome in my personal opinion. But that was a great moment to close out the 2011 Slammy Awards. And we get to my number one moment from the 2012 Slammy Awards, also along with the Tommy Dreamer return. As I mentioned earlier, he was not the only big name to return at the 2012 Slammy Awards. We had the Boogeyman at the start of the show, we had Tommy Dreamer in the middle, and we also had the return of Ric Flair. Now, rumors have been running rampant for months that he was coming back after he left TNA in May of that year, in 2012. And I thought he was coming back as the Raw GM in his home state of North Carolina, I think in late October. And it didn't happen. I was pretty disappointed. But they waited until the Slammy Awards. They didn't advertise it or anything like that. I think they went into commercial break with Jerry Lawler saying, oh, coming up next, we got a big name, doing the presentation for Superstar of the Year award. And then you hear, woo! And the place loses their shit. I lost my shit. I'm like, oh shit, Ric Flair's back. So they come back from commercial. Ric Flair returns for the first time in 3.5 years, I think it was, because he left WWE, immediately went to TNA, and had spent 3 years there, three or so years there. But anyway, so Ric Flair comes out. They did the whole presentation for the Superstar of the Year award, which was cool. And then Cena won, and that was like, oh fuck, Punk really deserved that year. But anyway, that's just nitpicking things. But what made it great was Punk came hobbling out on the crutches, and he was like, you old man, if you want to fight, let's fight right now. And he challenges Flair to a fight, and they take it to the ring. And they go to another commercial. Punk is seen fighting with Ric Flair in the ring, and he starts fighting Paul Heyman. I think he locks Paul Heyman like the figure four or something. I'm like, holy shit, this is fucking awesome. The Shield comes down, ready to attack Ric Flair, and we go to another commercial break, and I'm like, oh my god, this is amazing. Longest, most amazing segment I've seen on Raw in years. So the Shield comes down from the crowd, ready to attack Ric Flair. Coming to Ric Flair's aid was Team Hell No. It was just absolute chaos. It was amazing. There were some really stupid moments on that show, so if you watch it back on the network where it is available, you might want to skip over some parts, but for that moment alone, it made the evening worth it, just seeing Ric Flair back in WWE, mixing it up with the Shield and Punk, and Team Hell No was the ultimate endorsement. It was a great night. It was one of easily my favorite Slammy Awards yet, and that's why I'm looking forward to Sunday, because we always get some big return of some kind. Last year we got Christian and John Laurinaitis and Eve. That might have been 2013. I don't know, but it was one of those 2 years. And we also got the return of Rob Van Dam last year. Like, we always get some cool little surprises. Roman Reigns came back last year, too, before he won the Superstar of the Year and came back and whatever else. But anyway, guys, those are my top 7 favorite moments from Slammy Awards history. WWE for the last 7 or 8 years. You can always, I would love to hear your moments. You can always go back to 1986, and I'm sure everyone who's been watching for 30 or so years, their favorite moment will always be Mr. McMahon performing Stand Back at the 87 Slammy Awards, but to each their own. My personal list is the following. Once again, in a nutshell, number 7, Triple H and Batista reunite in 2008. Number 6, Shawn Michaels challenges The Undertaker to a rematch at WrestleMania in 2009. CM Punk threatens John Cena in 2010. Tommy Dreamer returns in 2012. Daniel Bryan gets the biggest ovation I've heard in years in 2013. Cain returns in 2011. And Ric Flair returns in 2012. That's my list, guys. As I mentioned, I would love to hear your list of your favorite moments that have taken place at the Slammies. I'm looking forward to Monday. We've got that on Monday. Live SmackDown on Tuesday, Tribute to the Troops on Wednesday, Christmas on Friday, Star Wars tonight, 2016 right around the corner, guys. It's an amazing time, not only to be a wrestling fan, just an amazing time to be alive right now. Like, I'm so pumped. My voice is still shot from not only TLC on Sunday, but just talking so much in the last 5 days because I'm just so fucking excited. But anyway, I'm out of the campus. I'm out of this dorm in a couple hours. Going to see Star Wars tonight. Looking forward to Christmas next week. And of course, Christmas falls on a Friday. And yes, I will be doing a video blog. Probably something brief, just wishing you guys a Merry Christmas, our final video blog of 2015. So I'll be slamming shut this year, this incredible year. And we'll be, it's off to the races for 2016, which is already shaping up to be a great year. All thanks to you guys and your incredible support. So on that note, be sure to like, comment, share, and subscribe. All your support is greatly appreciated. Have an amazing weekend. Have an amazing holiday season. Enjoy Star Wars if you're seeing it. Have a great Christmas, Hanukkah, Kwanzaa, Three Kings Day, and everything else in between. I'm Graham G. Matthews, and I'll catch you guys down the road.